Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Yeah, it's sort of a late one. I mean, it's still Wednesday, so it's not too late, I guess. Yeah, what's going on? Brew wise, about the same deal. I'm hoping to brew this weekend, coming up, and hopefully do a lager. I've been kind of been what I've wanting to do, but I haven't got to it yet. Yeah, kegs are still, the pipeline, I guess, is in good shape. Got some beers in the kegs, got some beers in the secondaries waiting to go to a keg. I probably should get some more cornies because now like I said, the pipeline's full, and so I'm kind of waiting to empty one before I rack another one over. And speaking of kegs, that brings me to today's subject and the question. I'm looking for some advice from you guys on what to do with a half barrel keg. Here it is. Look at that right there. I got a hold of that. I'm trying to think how I got a hold of that. I think it was a Craigslist deal. But yeah, it's your basic stainless steel keg, standard keg, and it's totally intact right now. And so my question, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. Because, I mean, obviously one of the main things you do is make a boil pot out of it. But I have a boil pot. If you look over here, right there, that is my main boil pot and my big boil pot. I guess I can't really call it my main one because it's big. I don't know if you can tell because of the way these phones are kind of wide angle, but it is a 20-gallon pot. It's aluminum. So it's not stainless steel, but it's aluminum, which I've heard, I guess, arguments both ways about, the way it distributes heat and that kind of stuff, or conducts heat. But it's good. I mean, it's massive. It's huge. It's more than, I did a double batch and it hardly even made a dent in it because it's 50% of it, I guess. But it's a nice boil pot, so I really don't need a boil pot. Then I've thought about a hot liquor tank. That's kind of where I've been leaning toward with this, is to make that into a hot liquor tank. But I kind of want to, I don't know, I guess the whole electric brewing thing has kind of got my attention. Sorry about that. I'm trying to move the phone. Because right now I do gas for everything. And I only have one gas burner. So it's a lot of, moving pots around or heating up water and putting it in a cooler to keep it warm while I do other things. So I've been thinking about the whole electric thing. I like gas. I like brewing outside, especially in the garage. So I'm actually kind of thinking about doing like a hybrid type situation, like maybe an electric hot liquor tank with maybe some kind of a Herms, I think, coil in it. And using that for a little more temperature control, because with electricity you can turn it on, turn it off really quickly, or even set up temperature controllers with it to basically do the mash water or do the strike water, the mash water, and if I do the recirculation through the Herms coil. So it's just maintaining the temperature of that water, and then for the boil to do boils on the gas burner. And so that's kind of where I'm leaning. I've thought about getting a heating element and installing it in like a cooler just for mash water. Because that way you'd have the insulation of a cooler. I don't know. It's just an idea I've had. But then I thought, well, maybe this would make a great hot liquor tank, either with a burner or to make an electric one. But then, the idea is going a step further than that and making this into an electric brewing system or the beginning of one. Like I said, I really do like brewing on gas, doing the boil on gas. But a couple batches ago, I did the overnight mash thing, and it was kind of cool. I mean, because basically I heated up the strike water or the mash water. I forgot what that's called, what it's called before you mash it. But anyways, the water used in the mash, I heated that upstairs on the stove. And I mashed in a cooler just inside, the night before, and I left it. And then the next day I dragged the cooler outside to the garage and brewed in the daytime. And I did kind of like having that little system inside, really easy. Basically, set it and forget it, sort of, and went to bed. And then in the morning, I brewed. Um, so it made me think, boy, it might be good to have just a secondary brew system, like a smaller electric deal in house. So if you just wanted to do, being even in the middle of the week, you wanted to do a batch without dragging everything out to the garage and doing all that stuff, it might be good to have. So back to the keg. So that's my question. If you had a keg, a half barrel keg, what would you do with it? What's the option? Especially if you already have. I mean, I'm capable of brewing. I do the old school with the cooler. If you look back there's my cooler sitting there on that table with laundry on it. So, I do the cooler mash tun. I do the boil pot. I do the immersion chiller, and then I brew in buckets. I brew in carboys, whatever I have available at the time. So I have a pretty straightforward, 3-vessel type brew system that I'm fine with. I think I make good beer with it. But so now I throw this in the mix, and what should I do with it? I mean, heck, should I just not even worry about the brew system and make it into a stainless steel fermenter? There's so many things, I'm not going to make it into a keg because I did have it has the, what's that type of connector called? Now I'm drawing a blank. But I used to have one of those, a Sankey connector. But I actually traded, I had some little quarter barrels that I actually traded a guy for some corny kegs for. And I gave him that connector because I didn't think I'd ever need it. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to make it into a Sankey keg to use. So it'll either be for the brewing, maybe fermentation, or some other idea. So if you can help me out, give me some advice, what you would do. This is a question I've been thinking to ask for a long time. I've been sitting on this thing, but I thought I'd wait till I get closer to actually doing something instead of just collecting a whole bunch of advice and not doing anything. But I think in the next couple of months, I'm ready to decide what to do with it and start the process. So anyways, that's it for this weekly Homebrew Wednesday. It is Wednesday, so for this week. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And my heart goes out to the guys in Florida, the kids in Florida at that school shooting. Another one. But not to be a downer. It's Homebrew Wednesday. Hope you guys all have a good one. And that's it for now. All right. Thanks a lot. See ya.